My name is Tom Poe. I'm a member and past president of the Orange County Puppetry Guild. Joining me today are Jennifer Lord and Ev Stanton, also members of the Guild. And in the next 30 minutes, we're going to be doing three things. One is I'm going to give you a very short history of puppetry in the world. Secondly, Ev is going to lead a workshop for a number of minutes. And then finally, Jennifer is going to introduce her team from Villa Middle School. Is that correct, Jennifer?
Yeah.
And who are going to be giving you an actual puppet presentation. So very excited about that. In terms of the history of puppetry, it's really been going on since the time of modern history. We see puppets in Egypt and Greece and Rome. With the Roman Empire, it really stretched all the way over to England and was used mostly for religious purposes there until it became more commercial, and then for the general audiences after that. Even found out today, doing a little research, that puppets came over on the Mayflower with the Pilgrims. I thought that was a great little tidbit. Here in the United States, puppetry became very, very popular, especially, it's been throughout our history, but especially in the 1900s, this last century. And we really saw them used extensively in public presentations, on television, and on, not on radio, but a little bit on radio through ventriloquism, and in the movies. Two of the best known puppets, obviously, puppet groups are the Jim Henson Muppets. And then many people remember the great marionette performance done in The Sound of Music with the yodeling boy and the girl and the great goats that were in there. In recent years, we've seen some wonderful presentations on Broadway shows now in things like The Lion King and King Kong and War Horse. So just exciting things are happening. The art of puppetry is expanding like never before, and we're excited to have you here today. And with that, it's my pleasure to present you to Ev Stanton in his workshop, who's going to give us some really great things to do.
Thanks, Tom. Well, first of all, since it's getting asked in the side chat, here is that book again, The Muppets Big Book of Crafts. There's another book called The Muppets Make Puppets. So, and I'm going to mention a few puppets. I'm going to have Tom hold them up so that people can see them. One of them is a hand puppet. This is one of the typical types of puppets that you'll see from the Muppets. Yep, the Muppets Big Book of Crafts. And the Muppets Big Book of Crafts, what's really nice about that is they give some basic glove puppets, things like that. And there's some old versions of that kind of stuff that you can make out of paper mache or out of foam, like the ones Tom is holding up. And this is literally just a piece of cloth and paper mache. So this is a very old style. And Jim Henson did a little bit of that. And then the other thing, if anybody ever saw Bear in the Big Blue House, I know that's getting a little long in the tooth now, but a fantastic show starring Noel McNeil and Peter Linz. That show used shadow puppets. Oh, shadow, there you go. And that is another terrific form of puppetry. And we're going to see a little bit more of that later with Jennifer Lord and her theater group. And the use of shadow puppets is very, very old. Probably some of the oldest recorded puppetry that exists. And then the third form that we're going to talk a little bit about is marionette. And we'll have Tom back up and show some marionette back there. Puppets on strings. This, again, is one of the oldest forms of puppetry, still incredibly popular in Europe, by the way. You'll see it street performed and a lot of other things. One of our guild members is Philip Huber, one of the foremost marionettists in the world. And we all benefit from his knowledge and wisdom, and we get to play with him a lot, which is a lot of fun. So I guess in one way, I'm encouraging you, come play with us, teachers, students, juniors. We would like you to come and be part of the guild. So come on and hang out with the guild. We have a lot of fun, and we have a lot of folks that just really love what we're doing. So today we're going to make a few quick puppets. I'm going to show you how to do a few quick puppets out of everyday household items. So these are things you can dig up in your drawers, and they come from books like Muppets Make Puppets and Muppets Big Book of Crafts. So we're going to do a spoon puppet, we're going to do a roll puppet, and we're going to do a piece of paper puppet. Now, these things can be used with sticks, pieces of paper, any kind of roll that you have, any kind of paper, you know, toilet paper rolls or paper towel rolls. As you can see, I like feathers. Feathers are great. You can get little pieces of fabric, old pieces of fabric, or you can go over to Michael's or Joann's and get little fabric packs for like $5. And there's like a bazillion different pieces of fabric in them. You can just get little pieces of ribbon. And all of this stuff works. So what we want to do is we want to make puppets move. That's what makes them different than dolls, first of all, is that there is motion involved. They are animated. So the first one we're going to make, this is my little yogurt spoon Elton John singing puppet, right? So all of this guy, he's got his microphone, he's got his hand there, and he can sing to you, you know, and he could rock out, right? All these feathers and stuff, that's what we call sympathetic motion, right? We can get this extra motion out of him. So we can pull that rubber band down and move his mouth, and we'll teach you a little bit about how to do that. In the roll puppet, we have a similar thing, but we have two rolls that work against each other. I've got a little tab back here, and we can sing. Oye, como va? See? I can talk to you. So we have to represent, right? Because Eve up here, he's Latino, so he had to make a Latino singer, right? So there we go. But see, we can take these two little toilet paper rolls and move together. That's kind of fun. And then the other one is a simple paper puppet. Paper puppets. And literally, this is just a cutout piece of paper and a popsicle stick. And he can sing about your fruits and your vegetables. They're good for you. So you can do things like that, right? So these things are really simple. They do slip out sometimes, but that's because they're just a piece of paper. So I'm going to fix that. Look how fast I can fix that. Pretty quick. Okay, so now, very quickly, how do we do this? First one, the spoon. The spoon is a cool trick. Take a yogurt spoon. Yogurt land spoons are everywhere. So we're going to take a yogurt land spoon. And I'm going to move this out of the way really quick so you can see my workspace. I'll bring them back if you like. So take a yogurt spoon and you take just a simple paper clip. Simple paper clip, okay? Then you just take a rubber band, right? And you can hook the rubber band around the paper clip. Sometimes you have to do it twice. If you can get a small enough rubber band, you don't have to. Let's see if I have a small enough one. I don't know. Maybe not. So we'll see. You hook it around, and then you hook it around again. So it's sort of like a bracelet, like that. Right? So it's kind of sitting in there. And so I just want to get close to you. Take your paper clip, hook it over. There's one side, and then you're going to wrap that around the spoon, like that. And then you'll hook it to the other side. No, second. Get it in there. So you'll see it's like a little bracelet back there on the back side of the spoon. So there's the front, and there's the back. And then you're just going to take a piece of masking tape and you'll tape it on. And it really doesn't stick until you tape it on. So you have to tape it on for it to really work. And the one thing you want to make sure is you want to make sure those two pieces stick together like a mouth. So you have that little mouth shape like that. All right, so then I'm going to take a piece of masking tape. And I'm going to stick it down. And this may take a couple pieces. You can really load it up with masking tape on the back because no one will see it. They're only going to see the front. Okay, so then you end up with something like that. on the back. Can you see? And then on the front, you end up with the little mouth. Okay. And then what I like to do is to make it happen a little bit better. This is my favorite thing in the whole world, a glue gun. All teachers should have glue guns. I think that's a required piece of equipment now, especially if you like puppets. This should be standard issue at this point in your life, is glue guns. And then if you put little glue on each side like that, it'll hold the mouth in place. Okay? So then what you can do is you can take any kind of feathering or flocking or anything that you have sitting around, and you can do crazy stuff. You can do crazy stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this around. I found this little thing for $1 at Michael's, and we're going to glue that onto the spoon as well. You can also glue eyes and a nose. This is just a little pom-pom, little metallic pom-pom. So if you want to, you can stick a nose on there. I'm not going to glue eyes on here right now because you've seen the finished one. You know, the eyes get stuck on there. They just get glued on the same way. But there's a nose. And maybe this one will be like, you know, Slash the guitarist. He doesn't need eyes. He'll just kind of hide under his hairdo. And we'll put some glue up here at the top and some glue across the back. And then all I'm going to do is pinch this over the top. Kind of, sort of. There we go. And hold it there for a second. There you go. And you've got that guy like that, right? Now all you have to do, this is very easy. You can take a ring from like a soda bottle or a water bottle that you finished drinking. You tie it with a string to the bottom of the lip, just a little piece of thread, right? Tie it with a piece of string, loop the string around, bring the string down through the loop, and you can just pull the loop to the bottom lip, and it'll pull that bottom lip down. So it's that easy. So I'll show you what that looks like again at the end. Now, what I did to complete it is, you know, I gave him some arms and things like that, but this is just a big chenille pipe cleaner that's wrapped around him. But if you can see, all I did was wrap a piece of string around his bottom lip. Can you see that? And then you just pull. There you go. And all that chenille and everything kind of covers the fact that that string's running right down their chest. So it sort of hides it. And if you can get some string the same color as the spoon, then it really hides it. And you can kind of pull it up here. And if you get it in camera, you can go, hi, hey, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Kind of the Mr. Bill mouth moving around. So it's that easy. A little bit of glue, get that, it's just getting that rubber band on there. That's the first thing. The second one is the tube. The tube is really simple. Take a tube, cut one piece about 4 inches, one piece about 5 inches, same tube. Cut the back up on the shorter piece, cut up the back, straight up in a straight line. Opposite that, cut a rectangle, okay? And then you just close, you kind of squish it together a little bit, put it into the other tube, right? And now you have a mouth. You have a working mouth, okay? And if you very simply, again, like glue guns, masking tape is amazing. All right. And the last one is the easiest, so that'll go really fast, guys, and I can show you. If I had more time, I would walk you through this, but you know, someday maybe we can visit in a classroom again and I can walk you through this and we can spend some time together. So it's very easy to actually put a stick on it, and then you have a little controller down below camera or down below your stage, right? And everything else that I did to that puppet was just gluing on feathers and googly eyes and little noses and things like that, and fabric, cutting up fabric, right? And then drawing some little mouth and teeth on him. And there you go, you've got him This moves back and forth, all right? Basically, that's this. Very simple. And again, you can have all the kids bring this in, supply them with some masking tape and a popsicle stick and some feathers and glue and googly eyes and go to town. The only thing you have to plan for on that one is that if you use Elmer's glue, then it takes a little while to dry on the eyes and things like that. Okay, the last one is the easiest. This is super simple. This is, you have 5 minutes to do with a lesson on fruits or mathematics or something, and you want to have a couple of things done. This is literally taking a piece of paper, okay, and you're making a mouth out of that piece of paper, right? So what I'm going to do, because in the interest of time, I'm going to show you, all I did was take a piece of paper and I cut it out. I just cut a shape, right? And then I took a stick and I put the same paper and I glued it on the end of a popsicle stick, like that, with a mouth, like that. And then I just slotted it through, literally just slotted it through from the top. And I put a little stop under here, like a little tray. And now it just moves up and down, like that. And you can use it, it's very quick, literally some scissors, a piece of tape, some googly eyes, and you tape the same piece of color paper to the stick and you're done. So let me show you again. That's just a piece of cutout paper. There's nothing special about this. I put a tab on it so that I could stand up for camera for you guys, so that I could, you know, it'll sit up. But literally this is just a single piece of paper with some googly eyes and a puff nose stuck on it. And you take that stick, measure it to the end of the backing, and you cut a slit, you know, that double slit in a piece of paper, and you just stick it down through. That's it. You got a quick little puppet. Very, very quick. You could do that in 5 minutes with your kids, and it's totally fun. So there you go. There's 3 quick little puppets you can do in your classroom. I encourage you to go to the ocpg.net/education. On there, there are right now almost a dozen single worksheets that you can download for your classroom, done by our very own Lois Hermeyer. She's put together these workshops, and they're terrific. They use things like toilet paper rolls and popsicle sticks and googly eyes and all such things. So I hope you enjoy that. Sorry it had to go so fast, but Jennifer, it's yours now. We got to give you the clock.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ev. I hope that everyone has a lot of fun making these simple puppets. Obviously, you can see that there's a lot of creativity that you can have with that, and it's all in the decorating. You can make anything you'd like
Absolutely.
to make. So thank you so much, and thank you as well, Tom, for sharing that history with us. Right now, I'm going to share with you our VIA Theater Troupe has put together a shadow puppet presentation of The Wise Old Woman. And something I want to share about this is a brand new group that's come together. We put this together. It was a collaborative from brainstorming how to approach the project to executing it as a team. We collaborated on this on the soundtrap.com music software program, and all of us got to know it from scratch. So I'm really proud of this group of students. There's 10 students that were working on this, along with Miss Bailey and Miss Nunez and myself as mentor teachers in the process. So without further ado, we have The Wise Old Woman.
The VIA Theater Troupe proudly presents The Wise Old Woman, a Japanese folktale adapted by Yoshika Uchida.
Many long years ago, there lived an arrogant and cruel young lord who ruled over a small village in the western hills of Japan.
I have no use for old people in my village. They are neither useful nor able to work for a living. I therefore declare that anyone over 71 must be banished from the village and left in the mountains to die.
What a dreadful decree! What a cruel and unreasonable Lord we have!
But the Lord fearfully punished anyone who disobeyed him. And so villagers who turned 71 were tearfully carried into the mountains, never to return. Gradually, there were fewer and fewer old people in the village, and soon they disappeared altogether. Then the young lord was pleased.
What a fine village of young, healthy, and hard-working people I have. Soon it will be the finest village of all Japan.
Now there lived in this village a kind young farmer and his aged mother. They were poor, but the farmer was good to his mother, and the two of them lived happily together. However, as the years went by, the mother grew older, and before long, she reached the terrible age of 71.
If only I could somehow deceive the cruel lord, but there are some records in the village books, and everybody knows that my mother has turned 71.
Each day the son put off telling his mother that he must take her into the mountains to die. But the people of the village began to talk.
If I don't take my mother away soon, the Lord will send his soldiers and throw us both in the dark dungeon to die a terrible death. Mother!
He would begin as he tried to tell her what he must do, but he could not go on. Then one day the mother herself spoke of the Lord's dreadful decree.
Well, my son, the time has come for you to take me to the mountains. We must hurry before the Lord sends his soldiers for you.
And she did not seem worried at all that she must go to the mountains to die.
Forgive me, dear mother, for what I must do.
The next morning the farmer lifted his mother to his shoulders and set off on the steep path towards the mountains. Up and up he climbed until the trees clustered close. Then the path was gone. There was no longer even the sound of birds, and they heard only the soft wail of the wind in the trees. The son walked slowly, for he could not bear to think of leaving his old mother in the mountains. On and on he climbed, not wanting to stop and leave her behind. Soon he heard his mother breaking off small twigs from the trees that they passed.
Mother, what are you doing?
Do not worry, my son. I am just marking the way so you will not get lost returning to the village.
Even now you are thinking of me?
Of course, my son. You will always be in my thoughts. How could it be otherwise?
Mother, I cannot leave you in the mountains to die all alone. We are going home, and no matter what the Lord does to punish me, I will never desert you again.
So they waited until the sun had set and a lone star crept into the silent sky. Then in the dark shadows of night, the farmer carried his mother down the hill, and they returned quietly to their little house. The farmer dug a deep hole in the floor of his kitchen and made a small room where he could hide his mother from. From that day, she spent all her time in the secret room, and the farmer carried meals to her there. The rest of the time, he was careful to work in the fields and act as though he lived alone. In this way, for almost 2. Then one day there was a terrible commotion among the villagers, for Lord Hika of the town beyond the hills threatened to conquer the village and make it his own.
Only one thing can spare you. Bring me a box containing 1,000 ropes of ash, and I will spare your village.
The cruel young lord quickly gathered together all the wise men of the village.
You are a man of wisdom. Surely you can tell me how to meet Lord Hika's demands so our village can be spared.
It is impossible to make even one rope of ash. How can we ever make 1,000?
Fools! What good is your wisdom if you cannot help me now?
And he posted a notice in the village square offering a great reward of gold to any villager who could help him save their village.
For ash crumbles at the touch of a finger. How could anyone ever make a rope of ash? Alas, alas, we must be conquered by yet another cruel lord.
The young farmer too supposed that this must be, and he wondered what would happen to his mother if a new lord even more terrible than their own came to rule over them. When his mother saw the troubled look on his face, she asked,
Why are you so worried, my son?
So the farmer told her of the impossible demand made by Lord Higa if the village was to be spared. But his mother did not seem troubled at all. Instead, she laughed softly and said,
Why, that is not such an impossible task. All one has to do is soak ordinary rope in salt water and dry it well. When it is burned, it will hold the shape, and there's your rope of ash. Tell the villagers to hurry and find 1,000 pieces of rope.
Mother, you are wonderfully wise.
And he rushed to tell the young lord what he must do.
You are wiser than all the wise men of our village.
The Lord said when he heard the farmer's solution, and he rewarded him with many pieces of gold. The 1,000 ropes of ash were quickly made, and the village was spared. In a few days, however, there was another great commotion in the village, as Lord Higa sent another threat. This time he sent a log with a small curved and bent 7 times through its length, and he demanded that a single piece of silk thread be threaded through the hole.
If you cannot perform this task, I shall come to conquer your village.
The young lord hurried once more to his wise men, but they all shook their heads in bewilderment.
A needle cannot bend its way through such curves. Again, faced it with an impossible demand.
And again, you are stupid fools.
He then posted a second notice in the village square, asking the villagers for their help. Once more, the young farmer hurried with the problem to his mother in her secret room.
Why, that is not so difficult. Put some sugar at one end of the hole. Then, tie an ant to a piece of silk thread and put it in at the other end. He will weave his way in and out of the curves to get to the sugar, and he will take the silk thread with him.
Mother, you are remarkable.
Once more, the Lord commended the young farmer and rewarded him with many pieces of gold.
You are a brilliant man. You have saved our village again.
But the Lord's troubles were not over even then. For a few days later, Lord Higa sent still an end.
This time you will undoubtedly fail, and then I shall conquer your village. Bring me a drum that sounds without being beaten.
How can anyone make a drum sound without beating it?
It's hopeless. This time, Lord Higa will conquer us all.
The young farmer hurried home breathlessly.
Mother, we must solve another terrible problem or Lord Hyuga will conquer our village.
And he quickly told his mother about the impossible drum. His mother, however, smiled and answered,
Why, this is the easiest of them all. Make a drum with sides of paper and put a bumblebee inside. As it tries to escape, it will buzz and beat itself against the paper, and you will have a drum that sounds without being beaten.
You are far wiser than any of the other men of the village.
He hurried to tell the young lord how to meet Lord Higa's third demand. When the Lord heard the answer, he was greatly impressed.
Tell me honestly, who has helped you solve all these difficult problems?
My lord, for the past 2 years I have broken the law of the land. I have kept my aged mother hidden beneath the floor of my house, and it is she who solved each of your problems and saved from Lord Hugo.
He trembled as he spoke, for he heard the Lord's displeasure and rage. Surely now the soldiers would be summoned to throw him into the dark dungeon. But when he glanced fearfully at the Lord, he saw that the young ruler was not angry at all. Instead, he was silent and thoughtful, for at last he realized how much wisdom and knowledge old people possesses.
I have been wrong. I must ask the forgiveness of your mother and all the people of my village. Never again will I demand that all people of our village will be sent to the mountains to die. Rather, they will be treated with the respect and honor they deserve, and share with us the wisdom of their years.
And so it was. From that day, the villagers were no longer forced to abandon their parents in the mountains, and the village became once more a happy, cheerful place in which to live. The terrible Lord Higa stopped sending his impossible demands and no longer threatened to conquer them, for he, too, was impressed.
Even in such small village, there is much wisdom, and its people should be allowed to live in peace.
And that is exactly what the farmer and his mother and all the people of the village did for all the years thereafter.
All right. Thank you for that. Can you guys hear me?
Hi guys. Wow.
Hi.
Okay. Hey.
Hey, good job,
Welcome
Jennifer.
back.
And I bet you her husband did too. I bet you, because that happens around our house too. So, so you guys did a terrific job. It was beautiful. Excellent job to all the kids. I know that was amazing, and it was a lot of work for you to learn everything. So thank you for doing that. And all of us at the Puppetry Guild really look forward to having all of you guys come and talk to us. You can visit us on our website, come see us, come do stuff at the Butterfly House with us. We're going to have so much fun together. So keep us in mind when you want to do things and you want to do things for your classroom, please. Yay, Santa Ana. Woo! Good job, Arts Festival.